how my luck changes today. This is what, Tuesday, and I'm at the gate to this company where my trailer was parked overnight, and it's 8:30. What's today? It is Tuesday, yeah. But at least I see the trailer. I see my trailer, no one stole it, but I don't see any crane. And on an unrelated note, now one thing about this dash cam, like another negative thing, and I'm using my black box. So number one was the weak mount for the windshield, right, which keeps getting loose. And because for a transport truck it's too weak because there's too much vibration going on, especially like my front axle. It's not air suspension, it just like springs, right? If I had airbags it probably would be better, but lots of shaking and it gets loose. But number two is when I turn it like this towards myself and I click that button, power on, it starts recording immediately, and you cannot turn that option off, right? I already mentioned this. So as soon as you connect power, even if you connect the 12-volt adapter plugged into your cigarette lighter adapter, this thing switches on and automatically starts recording. But I just realized that there's another minor nuisance in the design. It's when you turn it like that's what I was trying to say, but then I remembered this problem number two. But actually the problem I was meaning to mention is that when you turn to yourself and you want to record yourself, let's say I push the button, I turn towards myself, I have no idea if the camera is recording or not. Like there's no light on the front, you know, like in my oh, where's my flip? Okay, flip is in my bag, but on the flip, when you hold it like, you know, in your hand towards yourself, as soon as I click record, I see the red button or the red light coming on. This thing has a little hole with a light just to my right on the left side of the cam, but it doesn't do anything. So basically I have to switch it on, flip it back, make sure that there's a red dot appears on the screen, and then turn it back to me. And of course now I have to edit and cut the beginning of the video, you know, like people don't pay any, you know, thought when they design these things. But anyway, I did my service yesterday, and one thing I did not mention because the video was already like 30 minutes long the previous day. This guy Sergio, right? Sergio, basically like me, Sergio, only he's Spanish American, and he talks English, right? So he comes out, I open the hood, I say, I want exactly what I have now. Like, those are pretty simple words, right? I want exactly the same filters I have now. And he nods, yeah, I understand. Okay, I said, just, you know, if you could write down please the model number, right? And he did that. So we cleaned up the dust because they were pretty dusty, and he wrote up exactly the model number of each filter, because I got two fuel filters. Actually, one of them is like fuel filter / water separator, and then a big oil filter on the passenger side, and the fuel filters on the driver's side. And the price was pretty good. And I say, you have synthetic? He says, yeah. You think the guy understands? He nods, yeah, cat filters. C, okay. Writes down the part number. And then you open the hood and it's Napa, you know. It's kind of like what happens sometimes in the McDonald's, right? You say, hey, 1 cheeseburger, no fries, Diet Coke, no ice, and then they give it to you in the drive-through, and then you drive 2 miles and you finally stop to grab the meal, and you see that now you have regular Coke with ice, a large size, and you have 2 cheeseburgers and 2 fries, you know, and it's too late to go back. You don't want to. So now there's a whole bunch of people near my trailer, and the guy in the blue shirt, he's the local boss. He's basically the guy who bought this thing, and he's saying that, yeah, the crane is coming, but he's pretty sure that he can lift it with these 2 forklifts. See, there's a smaller forklift on the right, and then there's a big one, the red one. He says that these guys just did not position them correctly, and he even wants to operate the red forklift himself. But yeah, that's kind of a funny the situation, you know. I'm here with this piece, right? I drove so many miles, nothing happened, and it's pretty much impossible for these guys to take it off without, you know, special equipment. And part of the problem is the way the blocks, those timbers are positioned, because they're blocking the kind of access on the sides, because, you know, this thing was loaded with a crane, right? So the guys didn't bother, you know, they didn't think, they just positioned those timbers the way they needed them, right? But now it's kind of hard to get your folks in there. Oh, you see, so the boss decides to operate the forklift himself. So I said, please make sure you know, I said, why don't we wait for the crane? And he says, oh, we can do it. Well, I said, just please do not damage my trailer. Well, let's see what happens. And that guy in jeans and dark blue shirt, that's the actual warehouse guy. He was operating that red forklift yesterday. So and they said that machine is only good for I don't remember, like 35,000 pounds or something. So there's no way he can lift that thing by himself. His rear end is too light. Watch his rear axle. I'm not going near that thing. But I think they still will want me, if they really plan to lift this thing, they will want my truck to hooked up to the trailer so that I can drive away with the trailer from under it, because if they lift it, which the chance is like 3%, but if they manage to lift it, then they won't be able to move it anywhere, right? Because they cannot go sideways. So, but so far they didn't tell me anything. So this is like your guys and gals personal heavy trucking show. I mean, yeah, some of these loads, they're like this, you know. They load them, and then the guy on the other end, the consignee, has a very difficult time trying to take it off. And this guy says that he believes the weight is not evenly distributed, because on the front there's a big wheel, and of course that I think that wall where the wheel sits is reinforced, and then there's a couple of pieces of frame in the front, so the part closer to us is heavier. And that's another part of the problem. Alright, let's try again. These forks are under the machine, I think. Maybe we could clean some rocks there. There's you know, lots of loose rocks on the top. from when they use this stone crusher, and of course that adds another dozen pounds or so. So maybe if we can remove that, then this forklift can do it. Oh boy. But I don't think it's a good idea, you know. I mean, for a manager to operate the forklift, unless he used to be a forklift operator himself. I also think their forks are too long. And because of that, they cannot come too close enough, and that puts too much weight and lifts the rear of the forklift. See, like this one, I don't know, maybe can lift like 10,000 pounds. Not even that. This yellow one. The exhaust pipe looks kind of like performance style. Well, the good news is that if they drop this thing on my trailer, we'll have it on video. And it'll probably get 1 million hits. And the trailer will be written off. The insurance will pay the financial company for the trailer. I'll be left with just with one flatbed. But instead of paying for 2 trailers, I'll be paying for 1. So that may be my silver lining. Alright, I think I'm gonna... Ah, that's what he's doing. Yeah, they put that cover on my trailer because yesterday they wanted me to go back to the other warehouse, and I said I'm not doing that because I already took all my chains off, and I'm not putting them back on in this thing, in this kind of weather. Okay, I guess I better go and open my lock on the 5th wheel. Okay, just hit the rub rail. Yeah, you have 20-foot long forks, and you cannot come from the other side where that thing sits closer to the other end. He has to come from this side. See, he picks up this piece, which is probably like 500 pounds. Already his whole forklift shakes up. Oh boy, these guys, I think they really need better equipment for this. Well, the red forklift managed to pick it up like maybe 1 inch, so his side actually sits off the timbers, but his axle was in the air. So now they see, like, but this one is this yellow one, I don't think it's... So the purpose of the yellow forklift is to prevent it from tipping over. Fuck. That's all I can say. This is really dangerous. front tire, the right side tire of the yellow forklift is pretty much flat under all this weight. Well, of course the guy hit my rub rail on the red forklift on the right side from us, and he's pushing his you know, that mast, right? And when he rear axle went up, so the forklift tilted forward right into my rub rail. I said, what are you doing? I said, you're bending the rub rail. Oh, you'll start moving and you'll clear it. I said, no, guys, I'm not moving when your 35,000 pound forklift pushes against my rub rail. And he bent it maybe like, I don't know, like half an inch in one spot, but didn't. Good thing I noticed it, because he of course he was paying the attention to the machine, but said, first of all, you're damaging my equipment, secondly, I won't be able to drive out like that. So I guess I have to take back what I said about the boss. The boss was a better forklift driver than the actual grunt. See, it was all about correctly positioning the forklifts, which was important, especially since the one forklift was much weaker than the other. So they had to find which part of the machine was heavier. So if you saw, it was very tricky. It took them a long time to figure out the correct points of contact, so to speak, but they did it, you know. I got away with just a slight scratch on the rub rail, you know. Like, honestly, I was really afraid that they would just drop it and it would just, you know, break the floor, and then I'll be stuck here for 2 weeks waiting for the insurance settlement or something. I don't know. One weird load. So, and I have not found yet, of course, a load back. Been checking all morning, and everything is 1,000 miles away from me. So now I'm just going back to the pilot where I slept last night, but only this time I have my trailer with me. Inside there's Wendy's, which I don't care too much for, but at least they have like a big seating area, so I can grab some tea or coffee or something and just take my computer and renew the interesting exercise called staring at the load board. So now I've been searching for loads in Texas, Oklahoma, Arizona, Colorado, Utah, Nevada, and even Louisiana,
in Mississippi. Because for some reason on the Landstar website you can only search for loads within 500-mile radius. I asked them repeatedly to provide kind of like a search tool where you can you know, put in any kind of miles, like at least up to 1,000, but they did not listen, because I guess they don't believe that anyone would be stupid enough to look for a load within 1,000 miles. But that's what the Canadian driver has to do, because the amount of Canada-bound loads,
go straight ahead, then take the freeway.
You know, the amount of Canada-bound loads is pretty limited. And right now I'll be happy just to get to Saskatchewan, you know, like at least to the eastern part of the Western Canada, but you gotta pay me $20,000 right now to go to Edmonton or Calgary. I'm not going there, I'm serious, like not even for 10,000 bucks. Now look at this. 83 Fahrenheit, 83 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius.
Go straight ahead. Interstate 19 northbound.
I'm driving in a t-shirt.
Take the freeway.
And a friend of mine, a guy with a Volvo and tanker, we just chatted this morning, and he's driving in Michigan, and he was complaining about the snow, and I just couldn't help but laugh, you know, like, what snow? Like, it all seems like a bad dream. Snow, you know, rain. He said it was -4 Celsius. What is it, like
take the exit right, 12 Ruby Road.
25 Fahrenheit in Michigan, but lots of snow. So trust me, if it's that bad in Michigan, I can only guess what it's like in Alberta and northern British Columbia. Forget it. At least from Saskatchewan or Manitoba, I can just drive empty to Fargo, North Dakota, you know,